Thank you for joining me, Mr. P, for Chapter 12 of FAKER. I barely sleep that night. Those 5 words whirling in my head. I know what you're doing. What am I doing? I do a lot of things. I put my pants on, left leg first. I eat salsa instead of ketchup. There's an itchy spot on my back I can only scratch with a spatula. But that's not the kind of stuff some total stranger accuses you of in a mysterious email. For someone like me, I know what you're doing can only mean one thing. I see all has figured out that El Capitan Motors Incorporated is a scam. And that's not even the worst of it. Does this person know about Lord Gladstone and the other operations stretching back before I was even old enough to be a part of it? Do they know about the family business? Who is I see all? When I click on the name, a long Gmail address appears. A random jumble of letters and numbers that could be anybody. Around 2 a.m., almost insane worry and lack of sleep, I grab my phone from the nightstand and thumb a clumsy reply. Who's this? The message goes through. No answer. There's nothing more miserable than lying in bed, clutching a phone, waiting for it to ding. What did I do? This is dangerous, right? The one thing Dad insists on in our business is absolute secrecy. The instant there's somebody out there who knows what you are and what you're up to, the clock is ticking. It's only a matter of time before you find a cop at your doorstep. There's no getting around it. I have to tell my father. What a time for this to happen. We've got this break-ins as money in the bank and the check from the Sings coming tomorrow morning. Dad thinks we're on the verge of a huge breakthrough, maybe even the big kahuna. How could he call a Houdini in the middle of all that? It would destroy everything he's worked for, not to mention that we would lose the money we invested in building the El Capitan prototype. On the other hand, how can we take a risk like this, no matter how big the possible reward? There's no question about it. If I tell Dad, he'll pull the plug. A professional con man is nobody's idea of a father of the year, but he'd never put Ariana and me in danger. Not for money, not for anything, not even for the big kahuna. He said it 100 times. Family is the top priority. Family, family, family. Cold envelops my body as I think it through. Pulling the plug means we have to leave Box Elder in hours, not days. This will be my last night in this house, this bed. No chance to say goodbye to new friends. Not to Logan, not to Kaylee, not to anybody. No chance to offer Mona Lisa one final head scratch behind the ears. Will Albion Pond ever get cleaned up, or will the cloud of mosquitoes be back next summer? That will be somebody else's problem. I shouldn't have bothered to make those notes on the Aladdin debate. I won't be around to deliver my very weak arguments. Mr. Novak is a great teacher, but his lessons on ethics could never stand up to what Dad has already taught me about knowing when it's time to get out of town. We've done it before. This operation shouldn't be any different, but it is. What if I'm wrong? All this panic is because of a single email. 5 little words. No details, no specifics, not even a threat. Not really. Weird emails come in every day. Spam, ads, useless marketing messages, jokes, memes. I just delete them. Everybody does. For all I know, this is just a gag from somebody like Logan, who considers himself a comedian. He knows my school email. It doesn't seem like a gag, and yet, if we call a Houdini, we could be passing up our biggest score over nothing. Worse, I'd be throwing away my life, the first life I've ever had that actually feels real. My head is spinning. Risk versus reward. Danger versus opportunity. The next thing I know, a harsh bell-like tone is sounding in my ear. I sit bolt upright in bed to find light streaming in through the window blinds and my phone alarm going off. Oh no! I fell asleep, which means I wasted the whole night and never talked to Dad. That's hours down the drain if he decides to call a Houdini. I throw on clothes and race down the stairs. Dad, I have to talk to you. Not now, Trey, comes the reply. It's really important. I hit the main floor just in time to see my father usher Mr. Singh into his office and shut the door behind them. Our neighbor is carrying a checkbook. Ariana is seated at the kitchen counter eating cereal. She flashes me a crooked smile. Full partner, yeah, right. I'm too flustered to be mad at her. For a rash instant, I toy with the idea of telling her about the email. This affects her too. Then my common sense kicks in. Why would I worry her with this? Neither of us can declare Houdini. Only our father can do that. I check my phone. There are a few new emails, 2 spam messages, and replies from Logan and Teresa about my debate notes. A debate they'll be doing alone if Dad decides to cut and run. Nothing from I see all. I pour myself some cereal, but it's like eating gravel. The whole time I keep my eyes on the office door, hoping Dad will appear. Interrupting a business meeting is a serious no-no in our family, and no meeting is more important than the one where money is being handed over. The door stays shut. The kitchen clock tells me I've got 3 minutes before the middle school bus. Now what? If there's no Houdini, I can't cut school today. I have the debate. But if I go to school, I won't be able to talk to Dad. A flicker of yellow passes by the front window. The bus is here, but I'm still glued to my seat. My sister pours gasoline onto the fire. That's my morning. If you miss it, Dad's too busy to drive you. That does it. I blast out the door in a dead sprint. The bus is 50 yards away, double parked behind the cable web communications van. Hey! I try to call to Logan, who's climbing aboard, but I have no breath for anything but running. Just as the door is about to fold close, a blur of white dappled with black and orange jumps onto the bottom step and hunkers there. I hear the driver hollering, "Shoo!" followed by, "Do any of you kids belong to this cat?" When I get there, Mona stands stubbornly in the doorway. Once I'm on board, she hops down to the sidewalk and strolls away, her tail straight up in the air. "Thanks, Mona," I call, then collapse into the empty seat beside Logan. "Oversleep much?" he asks me in amusement. "I got a weird email last night," I tell him. "Was it from you?" He shrugs. "Who knows? I'm pretty weird." "What was it about?" "An unfunny joke?" He shakes his head. "Couldn't be me. My jokes are all hilarious. Besides, I would have texted." He sees the look on my face and adds, seriously, "I didn't send you anything besides the debate stuff." I slump against the seat, deflated. It would have made my life a lot easier if that email had turned out to be a joke from Logan. Of course, that doesn't mean it can't be a joke from somebody else. Any box elder student could figure out my email address based on their own. But who? Teresa? The Atumwas? Kaylee? Probably not Kaylee. She isn't the prankster type. As the bus exits the peninsula of the point and makes its way through the city streets, I picture my father at home. He's probably finishing up with Mr. Singh about now. Maybe they're toasting the new investment with coffee. The thought that my father has no idea that our operation might be exposed makes me really uneasy. I consider texting him a quick warning, but trying to explain the problem in a few words only ups the chance that he'll call Houdini for maybe no reason. Maybe. At school, Teresa is waiting for Logan and me outside Mr. Novak's room. We go over our debate strategy. Who speaks first, second, and cleanup. The minute Kaylee shows up, I can already tell that we're doomed. She has her game face on, the one she wears when she talks about Albion Pond. "Ready for the debate?" she greets us. "Can't wait," I lie. Mr. Novak seems really excited to get into this debating thing. He's rearranged the furniture in the room. The debaters are up front, facing the rest of the class. Every desk has a notepad so the audience can score the good points both sides are making. At the end, there's going to be a vote to decide the winners. I'm up first. But as soon as I start talking, I have this vision of Aladdin on his magic carpet, opening his email. The very first message says, "I know what you're doing." From that moment on, I'm blabbing. The law says you're not allowed to steal. It doesn't say anything about why you're stealing. So even if you're stealing to feed your starving family, which is good, it's still illegal because stealing is bad. Starving is bad too, but stealing is worse than starving. The whole time, Mr. Novak is looking at me with a shell-shocked expression on his face. Logan and Teresa try to save the day, but my argument is a dumpster fire, and there isn't enough spit in the world to put it out. Then, Kaylee stands up and cuts us to pieces. She's passionate and reasonable, but also merciless when it comes to making us look like idiots. "You've just heard my opponents present the argument that laws are more important than people. She shakes her head, clucking pityingly. Well, nothing could be farther from the truth. There's a higher law, and it says that food is a basic human right. That overrules everything else. Humans make the laws, so human rights always come first. She's so good that some of the kids break into applause. Me too, even though it earns me dirty looks from Logan and Teresa. Kaylee's partners aren't great, but we still lose the debate 18 votes to zip. Mr. Novak says it's the first time in all his years teaching ethics that anyone ever got swept. I don't care. I'm just glad it's over. Mr. Novak pulls me aside as class is breaking up. Is everything all right, Trey? That was not the performance I expected from you. Sorry, I mumble, embarrassed. I know I let my team down. It's pretty hard to come up with reasons why starving is good. The teacher shakes his head. It shouldn't matter which side of the debate you're on. There's always an argument. You just have to find it. Kaylee was pretty awesome today. I don't know if anybody could have beaten her. Maybe appealing to his parental pride will make me seem a little less pathetic. Kaylee's just another student, he says seriously. She did well today, but you have the ability to do well too. So let's just call this a bump in the road and move on. Logan is waiting for me in the hall. If you told me how bad you stink at debating, I would have picked a different partner. Believe it or not, it lightens the mood. I laugh. Kaylee, maybe. I duck into the boys' room, lock myself in a stall, and check my phone. A new email has come in. Hands shaking, I tap the icon. From I see all. To Trey Kirkwood, parentheses, student. Subject, truth. There's no such car as an El Capitan. A wave of panic comes over me, and I very nearly dial my father with a Houdini of my own. This is no general message that can mean almost anything. This is a very specific message about the El Capitan. Somebody knows it's fake. A moment later, the terror subsides and I can think again. No such car. Does IC all know that for sure? Or is somebody just messaging me or fishing for information? So I sent IC all a link to the webpage Dad created for El Capitan Motors. That site is filled with details about the car and the company, and it's already fooled 2 investors. The reply comes even before I can put my phone away. Anyone can make a phony website. It hits me with an almost physical force, and I back into the metal stall divider, creating a gonging sound. How does IC all know the site is fake? Did Dad make a mistake somewhere? My father never makes mistakes when the operation is involved. Who is my mystery emailer? As much as I want it to be nothing more than a prankster, I have to consider the possibility that it's more dangerous than that. Who could it be? And why contact me instead of going directly to Dad? Who knows the truth about the car? Just us and Gator, the body shop guy who built it. There's also Dad's print guy who created the brochures and his internet guy who built the website. But my father's network of guys has always been all airtight. It couldn't be the mechanic who inspected the El Capitan for the Zabrakians. He gave the car a clean bill of health. A blackmailer. But who? I have to face facts. It could be anybody, even a cop. I shake off that scary thought. No, not a cop. Cops don't send cryptic emails. They come and arrest you. We have 2 options. Number 1, we call a Houdini and scram. Or number 2, we sit tight and wait to see what IC all really wants from us. I'm a full partner, so I should be able to make this decision. I say we wait. I let myself out of the stall and exit the bathroom. I'm already late for second period, but at least I'm a little calmer. When I get to my locker, I find it blocked by a bulky figure in a royal blue leather jacket. It's Nathan Poole, who has the locker next to mine. He's just as late as I am, but that doesn't bother Nathan. He's the starting left tackle for the Box Elder Bruins, which is kind of like a get-out-of-jail-free card at our school. 210-pound 7th graders aren't easy to come by. Hi, Nathan. His massive head glances down at me and then quickly turns away. Nathan and I got off on the wrong foot the day the grape juice from my lunch dripped out the vents in my locker and stained his brand new white sneakers. I made things worse by asking why Nathan was standing in front of my locker instead of his own. I should have realized that when you're Nathan's size, it's not possible to stand in front of just one locker. Needless to say, he's not my biggest fan. But seeing him there tweaks a connection in my mind. Nathan's older brother is Lamont Pohl, one of the two parking lot valets at the Romanos party, the high school kids who took the El Capitan out for a joyride. I didn't make a big deal out of it that night. I was just happy the car was okay. But thinking back, Lamont and that other kid had the El Capitan to themselves for a pretty long time. Could they have discovered that it was a cobbled together fraud? It seems pretty unlikely that a pair of high school joyriders would notice what a trained mechanic didn't, but too many of the pieces fit. Lamont had access to the car. His brother Nathan knows me and hates my guts. And as a Box Elder student, he has access to my email address. I decide to see what I can squeeze out of him. Did your brother tell you about my dad's car? He looks at me through hooded eyes. Why do you think we talk about you? Not me, my father's car, the El Capitan. Lamont drove it when he was working at the Romanos party. A shrug. Lamont drives a lot of cars, so what? This one's special, I persist. It's a prototype, a new startup company. I can show you a website. Nathan interrupts. And? I prompt. What? You think it makes you special? He pulls a binder out of his locker and rambles off down the hall. Frowning, I stand in front of our lockers for a long time after he's gone. If Nathan is I see all, what is he hoping to gain by sending weird emails? Revenge for his purple sneakers? The simple pleasure of being a jerk? Or is he after something more? And that is the end of chapter 12. Thanks for joining me.